DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
You're tuned in to DJNTV Live with your host, Brian S. Red.
Good evening, everyone. It is Tuesday night, and it is time for us to bring you a live update from the dungeon.
It's been a while, hasn't it?
It has, but wait, we're not in the dungeon tonight.
No, we're not in the dungeon.
Oh, things have changed. We've now
Things have definitely gone Pete Tong over here, so we're working on it. We're trying to get it all back together.
We're moving up in the world. So for the folks who are joining us and don't know what we're talking about, typically, of course, Brian is downstairs in his studio work area, and he's got the cool lighting and the records and everything in there. What happened?
I'm in the doghouse.
Brian was naughty, you see.
You know, in fact, I'm sitting on the very same futon that I bought after I left Stevie's mother. So I really feel like I'm being punished right now.
Put in a corner. You go in that room and you don't come out until you're going to be a good boy now.
Yeah, I'm in the spare room, which used to be Blanca's daughter's room, and then it was the TV room, and then it was Costas's bedroom, and then it was Stevie's study room. Then it was the TV room again briefly. Then it was Andy's room for like 2.5 years. And then after Andy moved out, it's just become the Blanca catch-all room. But now it's the temporary office space of me.
For the next week or so, as the dungeon area
gets... Yeah, I'm thinking maybe a week. For those of you who don't know, what happened was, on my way to NAMM, on my layover at Sky Harbor, I get a text message from Blanca, call right away. So I call the neighbors next door, not us, the neighbors. Let their basement freeze, because they're like that. And their water lateral bursted, or sprung a leak, or something. And the city needed to replace it. However, the city could not replace their water lateral or repair their water lateral, A, because it was lead, and B, because for some weirdo reason that's completely against code, 112 years ago, they put in a shared water lateral that kind of wise out instead of two separate ones, which is very against code. So that meant that they have to bring everything up to code, which means not only the $160 special tax assessment for the next 10 years, but it also means that I had to completely tear the studio apart so they could dig a 5x2 trench through the center of the studio that you know and love, and run a new water lateral.
So you've got the hole there. You're going to have to go and get some concrete, patch that.
It's already done.
And then, okay. Let's see.
The only problem is that they relocated the water meter on the wall where the record cabinets used to be.
Oh. So, and you have to have access to it.
In the meantime, they trampled a little mud, so they kind of destroyed the carpeting. That's got to come up. And the cabinet that was built in that I had to pull out that was hiding the old utilities, it's not going to fit anymore because of the new... I posted a picture of this on Facebook. There's a new water meter on the wall. So what I have to do is, besides pull a couple of $1,000s out of my butt, I don't know where that's going to come from, is I got to get new carpet, and I got to get a carpenter in here to rebuild something there so I can work again.
Yeah.
In the meantime, I'm in the doghouse.
Yep, you're in the doghouse upstairs.
Yeah. It's a nice room, don't get me wrong. I got a nice view. Very nice view. It's weird to be above ground.
You can look out a window and see.
Being underground, I'm very uncomfortable being above ground.
Yes,
But,
at
we're
high
here,
places.
and we'll make the best of it.
So let's jump into our topic tonight. You wanted to talk a little bit about some of the gear that you saw out at NAMM and some of the applications that kind of rung a bell with you as you were looking at the different new things that are coming out.
Well, I've got a theory about where we're going as mobile DJs. And one of those theories is that we've got pretty much the base of what we need. We've got great options for sound. We've got it right with powered speakers, with controllers and MIDI mixers, laptops for the music. Things are really coming together nice. But the one thing that I think a lot of people struggle with is lighting control. And if you went to NAMM, there wasn't anything in particular that really just jumped out at you as, wow, that's new. But if you look really close and use a little applied science in your head, there's some neat stuff on the horizon that's coming our way. I don't know, did you get the full demo of Record Box lighting?
Yes. Yep.
Was that amazing or what?
That is very, very cool. But
Very impressive.
Even with that being said, I still have that soft spot for the Airstream DMX bridge when we're talking about lighting control, because as my day went, today I spent my day making making more lighting programs. Because
I love the DMX bridge. I'm getting the hang of it. In fact, that's something I'll probably end up setting up in the living room to Blanca's dismay while I'm waiting for things to happen in the dungeon.
I was just going to say, I'm actually, I have lights set up on the other side. I've got 4 of the Pocket Pros set up on a pool table on the other side. And I don't know if you, hang on, I'm going to see if a person can see the color changing. No, you can't, because
I see red.
Okay.
I see blue.
Yep.
Ooh, yeah.
So I've set up
Those
scenes.
are your Pocket Pros, huh?
Yeah, those are the Pocket Pros, and there's the Mega Pars. I've got a Mega Par there also, so that they're giving me the wash and such there.
Well, let me ask you this, John. Where did you get the profile for the Pocket Pros? Did you make it yourself?
I made it myself. I thought it would be much more difficult to do that, but it really setting up the number of channels and set label each one properly, and then when I went into the area here, I'll show you the getting into the effects area where you can actually go and draw the little shape that a person would want the light to do, and you can kind of play with that a little bit. So what I was wanting to have is I want those lights to kind of go up, and I want them to stay kind of more in a central area instead of going down into the eyes of the crowd.
Right.
So I was able to use that and create the movement, pick a color that I want, i.e. the red, the green, the blue, and that way I've got the floods that are doing their thing. I've got the Pocket Pros going where I want them, within a range. I mean, it's not an exact science, and if I'd take more time, it probably would be.
Right.
Which is the ease of control. This is of course as of right now. But the next thing I think is where we're headed here is Record Box has introduced that their little box, and Virtual DJ. The rumor is that Virtual is going to be coming out with one later this year that will do similar things. So the lighting is going to really become something. I think once it's set up and you set it and forget it to a point, and that's going to be pretty impressive.
What Jay and Christian were doing with that Record Box lighting and what's it called? The DMX.
Oh, I don't remember the exact
1RB, I think they call
something
it.
like that. Yeah, it was just kind of
the dongle. It was just very impressive.
Yeah.
And I'd like to get involved with that too.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like tons of fun. I'm going to be working on that. In fact, excuse me, I was so excited to get into Record Box when I got home. And then, of course, my table that I actually have my Record Box ready controller on was removed from physically from the wall, so we're not doing that now. But anyway, I regress. Yeah, I had great plans after NAMM, and what the hell? I really did. I know people are excited about Sound Switch.
Yeah,
there's some really neat things out there
mm-hmm.
For lighting, as far as But then having said that, I think that people would like things to be even easier than that. I believe, and in the chat room, back me up if you're with me on this. There are some people out there who have completely embraced DMX.
Mm-hmm.
All right. And John, you and I are kind of getting there. We're with the Airstream DMX bridge.
That helps, yeah.
We're looking at this and we're saying, okay, I kind of get it. I know what I can do here. And we can create some basic scenes to do things while we're DJing.
Yeah.
Hit this button for a fast dance for all lights on. Hit this button for just pars. Hit this button for just heads. Hit this button for strobe. Hit this button for slow dances. Hit this button for your searchlights going around, but we physically have to go in and make these programs.
Yeah.
What if there was a way where you didn't have to do that? I'm thinking about something that a lot of people may have seen and kind of passed over. I'm looking at that My DMX RM unit.
Mm-hmm.
You see that?
Yeah, I looked at that a little bit, yeah.
Yeah. Now, the idea with the RM was primarily for like the church market.
Okay.
Because what they're thinking is that, like a small church that has some heads and some pars and stuff, what they can do is they can bring in a lighting designer to go in there with My DMX and program some shows for things to have, whatever, right? So maybe a show for the choir, boom, the lights go on the choir.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe a show, I don't know. I don't go to church. I don't know what they do in church with lights, but don't laugh. I don't go. I'll probably turn to, burst into flames and turn to dust or something if I go to church. But they don't always have a lighting designer there on Sunday morning or Friday night mass or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
They've got the volunteer who goes. So if they have the lighting designer come in and pre-program these shows, and there's like 16 buttons, all the volunteer has to do is press the corresponding button to get the show they need, right?
Yep.
Well, why can't we do this for mobile DJs too? Why couldn't we come up with some kind of, I don't know, My DMX club where every week or 2 weeks or whatever, we feature a light show that you can download and load into your RM. So let's say week 1, we do a pair of pocket spots and 4 pars.
Mm-hmm.
That's a decent little light show for a little mobile rig. Here are 16 comprehensive shows that you load into your RM, you plug it in, and you go. You don't have to learn DMX. You don't have to know anything. Just set your lights up, run your cables, and here are your buttons. It's like the old days.
Yeah.
With the Copilot, which I love the Copilot
switch.
days.
Yep, the big red toggle switch.
Yes, this is almost just like that, but a little different, where we have to kind of come up with lighting, I guess, configurations that people use a lot and feature them in something like, again, the My DMX Club, perhaps. But I want to take it a step further, and I want to put these downloads on the ADJ website. So, like, if you go to Pocket Spot on ADJ under the download section, you'll have a download for the RM for 16 shows for that light, along with maybe 4 hex bars. And maybe a bonus light, too. I don't know. But this is my concept.
Sure. I could even see it going like a step farther, where a person could go, and it would be cool if you could go through and pick. This is the par I've got. These are the moving head fixture. This is that, and create light shows. And it goes through, and I can't see it would be that difficult to do once the initial programming's done. Because
I think initially what's going to happen is we're going to have to bring in a lighting designer to do specific configurations.
Mm-hmm.
And I know the Pocket Spot's the big one. And, like somebody just said, Scott Carroll said 4 movers.
Yeah.
All right. You can have 20 movers. It doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm. But
you've got 2 DMX channels to work with. So let's say you have a moving head that has 12 channels on it, okay? One bank of fixtures you'll address as DMX channel 1. and the next bank of fixtures you'll address is DMX channel 13. So this group of 10 does everything channel 1 tells it to do. This group of 10 does everything channel 2 tells it what to do.
Yep.
On or fixture 2 rather.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not limited to 2. You can add as many as you'd like. Same with pars. I said 4 pars, but you could do 8. You could do 6. You could do 20. It doesn't really matter. You just have to double up on the addresses, or triple up, or quadruple up on the DMX addresses.
Yeah.
And basically, what you're getting is master, slave, but you've got control over it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what most people want.
Yeah, just a little bit of control.
Yeah. So we have a lighting designer come in and design, and it could be one head, it doesn't matter, and then you can just do pan tilt inversions on stuff. There's several different ways we can do this, but we can design it specifically with the guy with, 2 Pocket Pros and a mega hex pack in mind.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't mean you're limited to 2 Pocket Pros. It doesn't mean you're limited to 4 hex flights. It means that you have 2 independent channels for the hexes, and you have 4 independent channels for your hexes.
And there's so much similarity in the different lights as far as the hex, the 5P and the mega hex. They have many of the same channels. So the main ones, channels 1 through 3, 4, 5, and 6, are the same on both units.
Well, what I want to push for and this is all preliminary. This is all stuff that I'm just thinking about and I'd like to do, and nothing's in stone yet. But what I would like to do, we have to go specific on the heads.
Yeah.
We don't have a choice.
Yep.
Or something like the boom box. That's got to be specific.
Yeah.
But when it comes to pars, we can do generic profiles on those. So we can do an RGB profile. We can do an RGB A profile. We could do an RGB AW plus UV profile. They're all going to be the same, no matter whose lights you use. Even if you use Bob's lighting, it's going to be the same thing. RGB W A plus UV.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what pars you use. That's the beauty of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's just, but it'll be specific on the intelligent lights. So you'll be able to use these profiles a few different ways. Maybe you don't have any intelligent lights at all. Maybe this is something that you're just not into. Maybe you run all hex pars, and you've decided that you've got, stuff that you warm truss with. You've got stuff that you backlight with. You've got stuff that you watch the dance floor with. Fine. You can use this profile that's created actually for the Pocket Pro, maybe with some hex bars, and just not use the Pocket Pro. You've still got all these cool patterns for the hex.
Sure.
I just think it would be easy. I think it would make life easy for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
And no, we're not going to be able to have somebody make profiles for your roto balls you bought in 2003. That's not going to happen. But when it comes to current popular fixtures, yeah, I think this is more than possible if we have a little bit of cooperation. And this is just kind of the applied science part of what I'm seeing and ideas that I'm thinking about. And I did talk to a few people, and they're like, yeah, I think it's a good idea. And the people I talked to who said, yeah, I think it's a good idea, are people who you want to say, yeah, I think it's a good idea, because they're the ones who can make things happen.
Sure.
Not going to call any names out, but I did get some, yeah, I like that idea kind of things that came out of the conversations I was having. Maybe, perhaps, around the ADJ booth.
Maybe, perhaps.
Perhaps with some people who may work there.
Maybe. Just kind of to take a shot in the dark, maybe.
So that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. And
so you don't have to learn DMX anymore.
And that would make it a lot easier if things were dump-in programs, lighting shows. It'd be so much easier, because as Randy's talking here, spending hours. And Randy, not to make you feel bad, but I made 6 light shows. Granted, they're not to the level of what you did, but I made 6 different shows, scenes, what have you today, and it took me about an hour with the DMX footage.
But the thing is that we had to commit to this thing.
Yeah, the learning curve has been...
I don't know how long you've been messing with it. I know you've been messing with it longer than I have. I would hope that I may have inspired you a little bit.
Yeah,
do some of this?
well, basically, as you were talking about it, and it's like, well, I got to learn more about it. And then actually, it was more of when you're demoing some lights and such, and you're doing, hey, this light could do this, and this light could do this, and it's like, I could do that if I had more control of the lights. And
Well, see, like Joe Lott did a fantastic setup tutorial on it. Really good. And if it wasn't for Joe, I wouldn't have been able to do what I'm able to do. What Joe really didn't give us was a practical application for this stuff. He just kind of gave us the fundamentals of how to set it up.
Yep.
And vaguely what these things do. But Joe's a lighting designer. That's what he does.
Yeah.
We're DJs. We're just not those people. So, we need those obvious things. It's like we need the creativity. We need help with the creativity part, as well. Or at least an introduction to how, to get creative with it. I did like a 12, 13-minute video on how to do this stuff. I think it did pretty well. It was fast-paced, but people got the idea. It's not hard, but Joe really didn't cover that in great depth.
No, and that's one of the things is as I was going through, and it's like, well, I can figure out how to do about. In the case of what I'm programming right now for proms, and what I want to do is I'm going to have 5 Ps all the way around the room, and then I'm going to have between the 5 Ps, I'm going to have the what is it, the Pocket Z4, or is it the Inno?
The Z4s?
Yeah, the Z4s. I'm going to have, so every other light's going to be a 5P Z4, 5P Z4, and that's going to be all the way around the gym. So what I want to have it is where if I hit red, everything's red, and the Z4s are going to just kind of do a pan back and forth across the wall, and I'll have that. And then with the main DJ system, the 5Ps are going to be linked at times that are on the DJ system, and then there's going to be some of the scenes that I've set where the 5Ps and the Z4s will be doing their thing in a color, and then the dance floor will be a different color. And it'll be changing, and they'll be running through a different sequence of programs.
Right.
And that's all something that takes a little bit of time. And again, I've got my ping pong table is full of lights right now because, okay, for this particular scene, I want to have white and such around the room, but I want those dimmed down a little bit. And then on the dance floor, I want the lights to be going faster, and I want to be able to have more of an effect. And I want to have maybe more mirror ball type effects with the little jelly domes. And
Well, that stuff is super fun, and I'm enjoying it too. Just kind of getting creative to a point. But and Randy's like, well, DMX isn't that hard. You just learn it.
Yeah.
You got to be empathetic with who the DJ is. We are not all lighting programmers. We're not all ever going to be lighting programmers.
Well,
just like we're not all going to be good with computers.
Mm-hmm. And
at best.
And you think about it, the amount of time
most of us are end users, The
amount of time that okay, so for these proms, because I'm doing 2 light shows, I'm going to have hours of programming over the course of 4 or 5 days as I'm putting new lights in. We can't put that kind of time into each and every event we do. It's not realistic. So,
well, I don't know. See, some people think it's like, I don't know. Okay, Wavy Davy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Wavy Davy, I've known him for a very long time. Mm-hmm. He's a good guy. He has no kids. He's a professional. He's 5th generation in his family business, which is an insurance business. His wife is a professional, And what I'm trying to say in a really nice way is they don't need the money. They DJ because they enjoy it. They love to DJ. Or Dave does. Marcia is indulgent. You're married. You understand how this is.
Yeah.
So Dave absolutely loves it. This is his outlet. He digs it. Well, he wanted simple. So he went out and he bought the boombox because I let him borrow mine and play around with it. And he really liked it. He was playing around with it in his got a little bar in his house. I gave him the remote. He was playing around with it. He liked it. So he bought one and he used it for 1 gig. And then he gave it to his brother-in-law who does like skating rinks and things because it was just too hard to control.
Yeah.
Could Dave afford to go out and buy the best DMX controller money could buy? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he could. But he does not want to learn DMX.
Sure.
He don't want to do it. And a lot of people don't. And that's why they're buying the Chauvet gig bar because that thing isn't cool by any stretch of the imagination,
Yep.
but it's simple.
Mm-hmm.
And simple wins. In fact, people are buying multiple gig bars and
Yeah.
linking them together because they're simple. Not because it's a great, well thought out light show, because it's really not.
Yeah.
It's not a bad piece. Don't get me wrong. Don't take that the wrong way.
Mm-hmm. But yeah.
Simple wins. It's going to win every time. So I'm thinking to myself, if people are gravitating toward this because of the control issue, what if I could make a gig bar modular? What if I could make or what if we could make, who am I?
Mm-hmm.
What if the universe could make a gig bar modular? Okay, how's that sound?
Mm-hmm.
Where you could have some cool movers and some cool wash fixtures and create these scenes. And the one thing the gig bar does not have, and I've talked to people who have them and love them, but it does not have, is a really good mode for slow dances at a wedding reception, where you push a button and there's no spin and puke going on, they're nice washes or whatever. This mode on the gig bar does not exist. So what if we were to think like mobile DJs and put something together that would work for a wedding reception?
Sure.
Where you had a button you could push and there's your slow dance, and a button you could push and there's your fast dance, and a button you could push and there's your strobe. And that's where this RM comes in. This is it. Now, you are going to have options here. Those of you who are interested, there's going to be an investment. And what I'd like to do initially, like I said, is going with the most popular fixture, which I feel like is probably the Pocket Spot. It's the most popular. It's the best seller anyway.
Yeah.
For them. And since I might be tapping into ADJ's programming team on this, it's going to be ADJ fixtures being programmed for this.
Certainly.
It's just how it goes. But okay, I want a simple to use light show. I want it cool looking. I want something that looks good for slow dances, good for fast songs, something stroby, something fun for when I, play my Pitbull song. 16 easy buttons and kind of keep the pattern with what's what, like banks of 3.
Yep.
Maybe this is cool. And we'll build it for several different lights. And maybe we can build it for all the new lights that come out. And maybe we can make it for the focus spots too. But yeah, what else are you going to do? We got to meet halfway somewhere, or we can sit around and wait for somebody to make a better gig bar.
Yeah.
That ain't going to happen, because a gig bar is always going to be a gig bar.
Mm-hmm.
So, the way I see it, for probably around $1,000 starting from zero, you can have a cool modular light show. You can go up from there.
Yeah.
But that's my concept. That's what I've been talking about.
Yeah, that would be kind of a neat thing, a modular show where you can swap pieces out as shows dictate.
That's what it is.
And
and then like I'm saying, like let's say we made a show for 2 Pocket Spots, 4 hex bars of whatever, okay? RGB AW plus UV. What we could also do is build bonus fixtures into those shows that you could use or not.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know what you might want in there. Some kind of centerpiece light. Maybe you might want to run a boombox too. Maybe you might want to run some lasers. They're built into that show, but they're optional.
Yeah.
You don't have to use them. It's not going to be a bad show if you don't use them. But you could absolutely add to the show that the programmer builds, and there are profiles in there for lasers or whatever you might have for a centerpiece or a wow effect. Or strobes or whatever,
Yeah. Yeah, there's so many possibilities of what would be for the average or the typical wedding DJ, mobile DJ who's not doing the big events. I mean, if you're doing that $4,000, getting paid $4,000, this isn't the light show for you. You're probably
maybe it is though.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe
it could be.
It is. It might be okay.
Yeah, that's true, because a lot of guys they've mentioned it in the chat that they're not using lights at events, that people just aren't into that.
And I believe this just after listening to everybody and kind of reading comments and seeing what people do. I think what's keeping people from buying lights is control.
Mm-hmm.
And although, as some people have said in the chat room, it's not that hard to learn DMX, yada, yada, yada. Some people are just not going to do it. They don't want to do it. They're not interested in doing it. They refuse to do it. So we can either completely ignore them or give them something that works.
All right.
And they were perfectly happy with the Copilot when everything worked with the Copilot. You push a button, stuff happened.
I was surprised.
Toggle switch stuff happened. Turn the toggle switch off, stuff stopped happening. It was pretty simple.
We mentioned the Copilot again. I was actually surprised at DJ Expo when there was someone that was writing up an order, and they bought like 4 of them at the show.
Yeah.
And it's like, I wouldn't, but he has a multi-system company, and it's easier to just have these lights set to a show and then turn them on, let them run, turn them off.
Absolutely. In fact, I was in Guitar Center in Riverside last week, and it's not the Copilot. It's called something else. I can't remember. ADJ makes it, but it's a toggle switch on-off thing. There was a stack of those things in there, like up front where people could see them to buy them.
Yeah.
They still use them.
Didn't they come out with?
I don't know. I think I'm onto something here. Now, some people are going to say that I'm crazy. Some people are going to say DMX is easy to do. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to say a lot of things. But I do believe that a majority of people out there who are not currently using lighting to its full potential are going to love this.
Well, and as a multi-system person, you get DJs in, and you need to have something that is easy to do, simple, because if it's loses programming, they're not going to be able to reprogram lights on the fly. So it has to be as idiot-proof as possible for a multi-system person to have it.
The RM should be that. I mean, in all the new fixtures that I've seen, you have to press and hold the menu button to unlock the screen to change anything. So it's not like we're going to accidentally hit a button and change the address or the channel mode or whatever.
Right.
That's not going to happen. And the other cool thing is, look at stuff like the element parts. The stuff is all wireless DMX.
Yeah.
So, in theory, if the RM were to have Wi-Fi, which it doesn't, but hold on, hold tight. It might someday. How amazing would that be? You walk into a room, you turn everything on, you put it where you want it, and then you plug in your RM, you turn it on, and everything just works. And you didn't have to program a damn thing.
It's all...
The only thing you had to do was set your lights up and set up the RM, which we give you step-by-step instructions on. It's a couple hours out of your life, and you never have to do it again.
Yeah, that definitely would be an attractive thing, I think, for a lot of DJs out there.
Yeah, Dave Clevenger. We actually had some cool connections. I was talking to him before I went to NAMM. Turns out, we're from the same town.
Okay.
And I think my mother, when she was about 5 years old, accidentally got locked in his grandfather's grocery store when it was closed or something. We had some weird parallels. It was kind of cool to talk to him. He's familiar with my neighborhood. But yeah, anyway, he was saying I need idiot proof. A lot of people do, man. You just need it easy. You know, that's what it's all about. And again, yeah. Could you learn DMX? Yeah, of course you can. You can do a lot of things. Are you willing to do it is the question. And the thing is that us old school guys out there never had to learn this crap.
Yeah.
All we had to do was plug stuff in. And we miss it. So I was just trying to figure out what an alternative could be.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Dave mentioned we were born in the same hospital. My grandmother was born in that hospital too. However, that hospital today, if I were the producer of The Walking Dead, I would definitely film it. The place has been closed for like 10 years, and it looks like something from a post-apocalyptic something. Well, my grandmother wasn't a DJ, Robin. Come on. She said it was a DJ hospital.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's 30 seconds behind, so.
My mother was born there. My father was born in a house somewhere, so.
Which is the common way it used to be.
Yeah. He was born at home. Not in a home, at home. Yeah.
Okay, just go.
But anyhow,
Get it.
I don't know. That's my concept. I teased about it. I don't know if you saw the video. It got a lot of attention, but I just threw it out there. What if we could make it simple?
Mm-hmm.
And that's about as simple as I could come up with. But even, let's just say, even if all we did was come up with one 16 show collection that used a pair of Pocket Pros and here, it's Art calling me. Hey, I'm broadcasting. Let me call you back.
Hi, Art.
No problem. Bye. John says hi. He hung up already.
Click.
But even if we did one a collection of 16 shows using the Pocket Pros, some hex bars, and maybe a boombox, if that's all we ever did, can you imagine how many Pocket Pros, hex bars, and boomboxes would be sold along with our ends just because it was easy and cooler than a gig bar?
Oh yeah, and that ability to be that simple, and I think that's one of the. I was actually expecting to see the next generation of the T-PAR system, the DOTS T-PAR system.
Yeah.
And yet from there really wasn't anything that they've replaced it with, and they're still selling those and selling them very well because it's a simple system.
The cool one too that I'm going to look at again because I never really gave it a lot of attention, but I should, is the event bar. Have you seen the event bar?
Oh, it's been a while.
It's got moving heads on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Very cool.
It's
very cool. I think it's got a foot control on it. So that's easy. But again, what we're missing with that, I feel like, is that slow dance mode.
Yep. I actually had the event bar here for a while, and we were playing with it and doing the things. The two things I didn't care for too much is that it was a quad LED, but it was the 4 LEDs. So what you saw on the floor was the red, the green. There was absolutely no color mixing, and it's like, okay.
No, see, I got the white one.
Okay, so you went, that would have
which
been,
I thought was cooler.
I actually had one of the sweeping versions that was all white, and I loved that one. That was a really cool effect. I like that much better than the color. The event bar, something like that with a little bit more control, so you can have a slow pan, would be awesome. And then,
well, what if we can incorporate it into the RM?
Yeah, you put two dots par above that, and you put those 4 little moving heads with a fast and a slow, and you right there. You pretty much have your show because you could have those 4 heads, synced or opposite each other, whatever. Yeah. There's just so many things that could be built into that.
Sure.
And you would have, really, 2 point, they could actually make that bar and make the whole front of it an LED flood.
That would be smart. You should be an R&D, man.
And then you would have everything in one, same size case as it is right now. Yep.
Do the ultra-wide beam angles so you have like a lens on it or something, so it does a nice wash.
Yep.
But it doesn't blind anybody at the same time, so you get your wash and your heads.
Mm-hmm. That would be
smart.
That would be a hot light.
You're a smart guy.
That'd be a very hot fixture.
Now, what that does have on it, John, it does have one thing that I wanted to play with a little more that I didn't really dive into as much as I should have, but it has a switched outlet on it.
Yes, I remember that.
And it also has the ability to attach a light to the top of it. So maybe you could do some kind of LED par up there.
Oh, yeah.
That did fades, and maybe, I don't know. I got to take it out. I can't get to it right now because I don't know if I mentioned this before, but things kind of fell apart down in the studio.
Really?
It's
I didn't.
Buried under about 8 feet of stuff. But, yeah. Eventually, I want to examine that again.
See, if I remember correctly, I think the outlets were only controlled by DMX. I don't know if they were, the foot switch on those did anything on that. Oh, I can't remember.
I don't know.
I can't remember.
I don't remember. It seemed like it was switchable, but I don't remember.
Yeah.
Let's see. You didn't think we had anything to talk about tonight. Look at all the cool stuff we've covered.
Yeah.
And we've kept people's attention in the rooms. To talk in the room.
Just trying to see. I'm looking at the specs of that because those were They're linkable. Yeah, you can link up to 8 of those. And they had the daisy chain with the IEC, which I absolutely love.
Mm-hmm.
Again, so now I've got those Pocket Pros with the PowerCon connections. No linking. It's like, oh, I want to link my power so I can go to one and then hop across. Nope, can't do that.
Well, that's what the
upgrade or the step up can be.
Yeah.
Did you ever play much with the UC3 controller?
I love the UC3 controller. I thought that thing was so clever. It was the answer to controlling moving heads.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I always did it. I had the InnoSpot Wi-Fi's. I loved my UC3 for that. I believe I was using it with the X moves as well. Great piece.
Yeah. But
they don't make it anymore.
Yeah, I had purchased one, and I think it was after you had one of the videos you did. So I bought one, and I was so excited I had it, and I don't remember. I never implemented it into my show. And at the time, I don't know what I was using, because I certainly wasn't doing DMX. I don't know if I was just turning things on and off.
It's so smart for just the simple things. Like if you got a pair of moving heads and you want to control them, it's so smart. On and off and done.
Yeah.
So the way I used to do it was I had and this is just what it's come to, for me anyway. I had my my Wi-Fi EXR dot sparks, which are battery powered,
mm-hmm.
and an RC remote control.
Yep.
So I was controlling those with my RC remote. And then I had another remote, which is my UC3 for my InnoSpot Wi-Fi's. That's how I control my light show.
Sure.
Now, I can either use InnoSpot Wi-Fi's for the rest of my life, or I can move on. And then I got to figure out a new way to do things. And it would be nice to have just one thing to control your lights, and not these multiple things.
Mm-hmm.
You know? I felt like I was in my living room. You know, I got the Amazon Fire remote. I got the cable TV remote. I got the DVD remote control. The caddy. I almost needed a controller caddy on my gig to control my lights. It shouldn't be like that.
Okay, before we get to the special dance, I've got to find out which remote shuts off that laser.
Pass me the remote, honey. I got to turn on the mirror ball. It shouldn't be like that.
Now that I'm thinking about it, during that particular time, we had the wireless little outdoor lighting remote that had 4 different channels on it, and I know that one had the mirror ball. It was there, and then I had some moving head fixtures. Yeah, that's what I must have used for a number during that period of time. Yeah.
So basically, what it comes down to is you can go crazy with this, with something like record box lighting, or anything that BDJ comes out with in the future, or even Sound Switch.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can be like John and I, and you can jump on this whole Airstream DMX bridge bandwagon. It's a very cool bandwagon.
Yeah.
We're on it. We like it. Yeah, but for the rest of you, I got another idea. Even easier. If you're cool with standalone programs,
mm-hmm.
Here you go.
And one thing I would hope it would have the ability not only to adjust the speed for slow, for fast, what have you, is to be able to dim the lights down. Because that was one of my, when I took the little all-in-one units here to a smaller event, and people were dancing 10 feet in front of them, and they were just so bright at 10 feet out that it's like, I just need to be able to dim those down a little bit, but you can't control.
The challenge, I think, on my end is going to be, there's going to be a couple things. First thing is to figure out what DJs really want.
Yeah.
And I do believe that what they really want is fast song, slow song, dinner.
Mm-hmm.
But then there's stuff in between. Like you mentioned, a dim. And then some people are going to want strobe. It gets to the point where it's no longer simple control.
Yeah.
You do need DMX. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm.
But we've got 16 buttons to play with. What would be the essential 16 things
you need
that a DJ might want with a light show consisting of pars and moving heads. What are those 16 things?
Mm-hmm.
Is it not? I mean, I can break it down to 3 things: fast, slow, blackout. I mean, done.
That's
But there's going to be a variation, in there as well. What's going to be the most important thing, and those are the kind of things we got to talk about.
Yeah.
I know what I would like and what I could live with, but then some people are going to say, well, yeah, but what about the spotlight dance and what about all this other stuff?
Oh yeah.
You need DMX. You need to learn it. But for those who are just trying to get their lights to do things with the touch of a button, easy stuff that's effective. Maybe not Star Wars, but effective.
Mm-hmm.
Not Industrial Light and Sound, but effective. This could work.
Yeah. Yeah, and Day is adding things. Yeah, another thing would be to have the lights on. A static, a hold for announcements and for garter, what
I
have
was
you.
thinking like, even creating some modes, like a dinner mode. This is what you want your lights to look like during dinner.
Yeah.
Maybe it's an ultra slow fade. Maybe it's a static color.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. But this is what your lights look like during dinner. Let's just pretend that people like amber during dinner. It's candlelight, dinner light. Dinner
Sure.
Candlelight makes sense, right?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe we got an amber mode. You push a button, no heads, but all the lights just go amber. Maybe that's our dinner mode. Maybe that would be cool. Nobody would get mad at you at any event if you turned amber lights on during dinner. Do we need a blackout button? I don't know.
Yeah.
Or is it just a matter of deactivating every button and then having it go off? Maybe we need a blackout button. If so, where's the smartest place to put it on this thing?
Yeah.
A lot of things to talk about.
Yeah. A lot of different
Again,
variations.
if you want more control, then you want DMX. If you just want the basics, I think this would work for a lot of people.
Oh yeah, I mean, I bet I've used that DOTS T-PAR system. I've probably done 50 shows with that.
Yeah.
Very basic foot switch. I think it's you can set it to go through the program. You can set it to go to the music, and I think there's a static, and there's a blackout. And switching up and down through the programs. Very, very basic.
Right.
But for many of the events I've done, it was more than I needed by far. It was a nice wash light, and people were like, yeah, oh, that's nice. We got a nice little light show.
It's one of those things that I think is a good idea in my head, but I got to run it past other people to make sure I'm not insane.
Howie's got a pretty good idea here, too, with that RM. You could get, they could have somebody who's, in essence, a hired lighting person who could you've got these 5 lights, here's some light shows, and boom, send it right to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And that's why, I was thinking about this My DMX club thing. What I was thinking is that, ADJ has got some official shows that they built. And here's how you load them in, whatever. But a guy like Howie could absolutely build some shows.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And sell them. I don't care. That's the point of the RM. It's for the lighting designer to build shows for the end user.
Yeah.
But here I am thinking the ultimate end user would be the mobile DJ.
Yeah.
Who needs this service as well.
Needs a simple, quick setup, and something that's going to last time and time again.
Yeah.
Yeah, neat idea.
An idea.
It's an idea.
We don't know if the ideas are good. We just know they're ideas.
They're ideas. I've been so tied up into programming here for the last 4 or 5 days.
It's a lot of fun, but you know what? It gets old really fast too. I want it done.
Yeah.
I just want to push buttons and I want stuff to happen ultimately. That's all I'm trying to do with this damn thing. And I'm not trying to reinvent the wheel. All I'm trying to do is some simple stuff. And now that I've thought about it, I mean, I need to go back and probably delete everything and redo it in a different fashion, which is a little more uniform and makes some more sense.
See, and I've never, Randy just mentioned, having three tempos on the main program, strobe, blackout, two types of slow, whatever. I've never been a fan of strobes that weren't actual true strobes. really been overly excited at strobes, especially as I'm doing weddings. I just can't get excited about having a strobe at a wedding, even in some of the programs where it's going through and it's doing some funky things and then it's like, oh no, I don't like that.
Well, it's strange because I've got a couple different feelings on this. My first feeling is, I think if you overused it, it would be super annoying.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, part of me is saying, if I throw this out once per show at the right time, it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That's how I look at it. I've seen people show up with so many different lights at events. They have all these lights. They've got probably a dozen pair of things.
Mm-hmm.
Panels, scanners, barrels, moving heads, pars, you name it. They got all these things. And my first thought is, wow, it's too much lighting. If you turn it all on, it's gonna. Well, yeah, it is.
It is. Everything, the whole room's gonna glow like a.
There's no focal point. Everything just goes,
Mm-hmm.
But on the other hand, if you're only blowing half of those fixtures off for 30 seconds a night at the right time, you got something kind of cool there. It's always different. So the peak of the hot track you're playing, you're right at Bodock Yellow, right at the hot point, you hit this button and these lights come on for this B section. And they're really cool and they add to the track and you turn them off and you never turn them on again.
Again for that tonight, yeah.
That's cool. Hey, you should turn those lights back on. Nope. We're done with those.
Yep, they were there. They did their moment.
They served their purpose, and we're done with those. That's cool. I like that.
I always enjoy the DJs who start off their show, and I've watched video of this, and when I was teaching, there were DJs who had 25, 30 lights. They start up, and within 30 seconds of them starting their show, they've used all their lights have gone on and back and forth, and these right? 5 on, then these 5 on, and it's like...
Yep. Or you push a button and they all come on and they stay on all night. Unless it's a slow dance, then they turn half of them off.
Yep. We still have the ones going back and forth and the sweeping back and.
Yeah.
Yeah. I enjoy those.
Those Galaxian lasers look amazing on a white wedding dress. The slow dance.
Yeah, her pictures, she'll love that forever. That green spot.
Green and red dots are the coolest.
Every time. Well, gang, we're going to wrap things up here tonight and let you guys head on off. Next week, Brian, I'd like to try to do a music show next week, if you would be up for it, where we can play some music and talk about some songs. We haven't done that for a little while. And some people were like, you guys should do so we'll have to figure out if we're going to look back into the 80s or the 70s or what we'll do, but we'll put something together, I think, for next week if that works out.
Well, it might. I'm not going to have a whole lot of control over things until I'm back in the studio.
Yeah.
But if you want to DJ the thing,
I can put the songs in the background and you can tell the stories in the foreground.
Although you screwed it up last time, John.
Shh. We are not talking about that.
Okay, well, let me know what you got in mind. I'll do my best to coach you.
We'll get that all figured out. So thank you once again for being with us. Tomorrow we've got our Wednesday shows. You can check those out. We'll have the links and such up on DJNTV's Facebook page a little bit later tomorrow. Brian, thank you very much. Gang, we'll catch you tomorrow.
If the show was okay, guys, let us know in the comments section. I'd love to see your feedback on this. I know you're putting it in the chat, but I'd really appreciate it if you go on to YouTube and let us know in the comment section what you thought of our show.
Yeah, because the chat disappears and we miss a lot of them. So please, in the chat, the comments down below. All right, good night, everybody.
Tonight's DJNTV show is sponsored in part by Electro Voice, DJ Event Planner, ADJ, NLFX Professional, Promo Only, Newmark, and DJNTV Insiders.